Hi, my name is Hannah Hunter from Pricing Empowered, and I'm going to explain 4 ways analytics can be used to develop pricing strategies. Pricing Empowered is a company that works with large manufacturing and distribution businesses to help them identify which prices or products might not be performing in the way that they should.
Some of the software they use is Tableau, which focuses on interacting and visualizing these data analytics strategies. To begin, we start with a large data set like this from a manufacturing company. It has over 1,500 products and over 800 customers across the United States. An initial tool they use is price measurement, which helps to see where there are changes in price and changes in the financials over time. We are going to examine how price trend over time affects profit. Here we are detailing the average prices for the years 2013 and 2014. In the top chart, we have it organized by product and then into states, and down below we go into further detail to see the customers in each state. At first glance, most of the average prices seem to be relatively close to each other, with some of the products priced lower and some are more expensive. However, we want to look at each product's average prices across states, and when you start to look at the products separately, there are some huge differences in what is being charged between the states. With P16, it varies from $300 in Arizona to $1,000 in California, and the customers within those states have large differences as well. And with P19, the difference between the states is between $1,000 and $4,000. This price measurement is a quick way to see how a customer's average price has an impact on the product's profitability. And the mix of customers can alter and multiply that impact on profitability as well. It shows us that average price is not just based on what the product is, but also where it's being sold and who it is being sold to. In looking at price measurement, Tableau is helpful in visualizing a large amount of data like this in simple bar graphs that are easy to read and use because it allows for a quick visual display of the prices from year to year. The prices are displayed right next to each other, enabling a larger view in our first steps of analytics. However, the next step is seeing beyond the invoices. Often we want to capture other things beyond the price that is charged to customers. We can create a final pocket margin by taking the total sales and subtracting all the other costs incurred to see where customers in which regions are most profitable and least profitable. This dashboard shows a scatter plot of the sales by pocket margin, and below are 2 price waterfalls, one for all the customers, and then the other changes when a customer is selected in the scatter plot. Here we are looking for customers that have a relatively low pocket margin for their sales. This scatter plot is organized by customers and colored by region. One of the customers here, C182, has negative $25,508 in pocket margin, and most of this is due to a large rebate. We know this rebate is very large because its ratio to total sales for this customer is larger than the ratio of rebate to total sales for all the customers seen in the price waterfall on the left. So then we want to explore if this negative pocket margin is specific to this customer or this region, this subcategory, anything where this point might be an outlier. We want to know the averages for this customer, this region, all of that, because then we can determine why this specific point is lowering our overall pocket margin. First, we can filter to see this customer in all its regions. When we do that, we can see this customer is much closer to the x-axis in its other regions with other segments and subcategories. It is also important to note that this data point we are exploring has a much higher sales amount than the other orders from this customer. This might explain the large rebate because maybe this customer made a larger than normal order because they knew they were going to get a lot of money back. If we look at the segment for this point, C182 is still on the low side of pocket margin. Next, we will filter to subcategory, and this one's in subcategory A12. Now, the scatter plot is more spread out. C182 is still on the low side compared to the other customers, and rebate is larger for the subcategory overall as well. If we click around at other data points for this subcategory, it looks like rebate is the reason for when certain customers give us a low pocket margin. So overall, this specific point is low performing, and most of it can be attributed to its subcategory and its high rebate. Again, Tableau is really helpful in being able to zoom in to specific customers and create action filters so that one click can drive the whole dashboard. Interacting with the data like this allows for greater analysis. Next, we want to look into freight because there are two components to it. The freight charge to customers, where we make money, and the freight cost to ship the products. Freight charge is one of the main ways companies can try to charge more to their customers. We're going to explore this charge regionally. The first area that stands out to me is that chain of customers in Colorado where the freight cost is high, seen in that top red graph. This means right away it is already costing this company more to ship to Colorado and the West region in general as compared to the lighter areas in the central region. Freight is also a higher percent of revenue for these customers in Colorado, and it turns out that this company is not charging a lot more than their cost in this Colorado region. The last map shows the freight charge to freight cost ratio. Since that is a low ratio, it means this customer might be underpriced and is not meeting our profit expectations. Low freight charges are often driven by a few factors. One reason is maybe there is a bad sales rep in an area who might not be charging what should or could be charged for freight. Another reason is perhaps a competitor has lower costs or more logistic advantage in certain areas, and customers know that, so they're able to drive the freight price down. This might be the case for the West region. We can see where freight is a profitable area for this company in the central region. Freight cost is low, but the freight charge compared to freight cost is high, seen in those black dots. This is where we want to see a freight analysis. Our next step is to look at price index, which compares the price customers are paying to the average price for that product in that state. On this dashboard, we have the price indices for each customer and their products, a map of a profit for each state, profit as a percent of sales organized by state, and then average price of those products. This dashboard is driven by the map. So when we click on a specific state, the other charts will zoom in on the data for that state. Here we are trying to find the least profitable products in each state, which might be affecting a state's overall profit. So when looking at the map of profit, it is colored by the dollar amount of profit. So it makes sense that California, Texas, New York are all the darkest colors because they are large markets and thus create larger sales amounts. We also want to explore which states are keeping more of that profit, which are the labels for profit as a percent of sales. California, for example, has $1,045,408 in profit and a 4.5% margin retained from sales. We can see there is a large range in the price indices for the customers and products in California. In the profit as a percent of sales chart, it is clear that in California there is quite a range in how much profit a company retains from each customer. In California, it is rare that there is a customer where a company retains a high percentage of sales. And then we can compare this large range of price indices in California to maybe customers in Montana, where they all have the same price index of 1, meaning they're all paying the same price. And one of the differences we can see that the company is keeping around 10% or higher profit from the sales for those customers in Montana. All of the customers in Montana help this company retain a very good percentage of their sales. However, the reason Montana has a higher profit percent of sales overall could be attributed to the fact that Montana is selling to a smaller group of customers and has less diversity in profit compared to the larger range in California. It might be easier to maintain higher profits in Montana just because it is a smaller market.
Your pricing strategies might have started based on your competitors' prices or on your total costs. However, these pricing strategies and more can help empower you in finding the areas that you need to target next. Thank you for watching. This has been Hannah Hunter with Pricing Empowered, and that was a quick overview of 4 kinds of analytics tools that can be created in Tableau. For more information about these pricing analytics and other tools we use, please contact or visit us at pricingempowered.com.